Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome, welcome. We have a special guest. You guys know her, but you don't know her. You've never seen her. So, welcome, welcome, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket. Hypnosis is one of those tools. I have had the pleasure of doing hypnosis on some beautiful, beautiful people. And I thought if I could get some of those people, a few of those people to share their experience, I thought you guys might want to know some of that stuff. So we have one of the 8 Kathys that we work with. This is Kathy Valle, everybody. Say hello to Kathy. Pineapples in LA, how is everybody? There's Kathy.
Hi, Tina. Who's sitting right over there?
Power Family Video. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone. Kathy's. I thought you guys may want to hear a little bit about her story, a little bit about the whole process of hypnosis, because I know a lot of people have a lot of questions about that. And we're going to get a special treat, and she's going to allow us to she's going to explain to us where she went, what was going on, how that worked out, right? So there is a little bit of delay. You'll see. Athena, how are you? Athena's here, Polly's here, Tina's here, Kathy's here, of course, Pineapples in LA. Power Family Videos, is that somebody you guys know? Oh, that's your daughter. That's awesome. Hi, Linda. So nice to meet you. She's she's in Texas, right? Nice. Well, we won't say, but I know where she's at. I remember. Great, thanks. How? Yeah, I know. I do that all the time where I'm in the middle of typing and then I accidentally send it and I'm like, oops, finish my sentence. Oh, which witch is here? Good day, all. Hi, Tammy. How are you?
No, I got Tammy, and when she got on with Harley Davidson.
Right? Didn't you love that?
I did.
We are some badass people here. And that's not me to say. That's our higher self saying that. Hi, surviving. Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I told you guys it was going to be emotional. We have these trines going on, but it's emotional. There's people that I think all of us, our emotions are just sort of, they're not bubbling, but they're like a little bit more intense right now, right? So.
Right. Linda was saying it's hard to hear me.
Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Thank you for letting us know. On yours, because it's not mine, it's your Zoom.
I was wondering.
Do you have a volume that you can turn it up? So if you,
Is it on my computer or in the Zoom?
So in the Zoom, you'll see that audio little.
Okay, I see audio.
Do you see that audio down there at the corner? Right? Is it on the corner for you? No. So you muted it. Unmute that. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a volume on your computer that you can turn up? But actually, let's try it this way. So click on that audio. I'm sorry. Click on the.
And you get the stuff up.
I told you, Kathy, it did not. Didn't I just say it doesn't matter? I have been working on this since 3 o'clock. It doesn't matter. It's just going to do what it's going to do.
Because my phone's going on.
Did it turn up?
It's on 100%.
Was it on there already?
Yeah.
Okay.
The little arrow.
So there's a little arrow on audio.
Okay.
And then you go down to that thing that says audio settings.
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to open up something.
Oh,
Do you see where it opens it up? Okay. So don't get overwhelmed. We're going to do this quickly. Oh, I forgot you have Tina there. Oh my God. I cannot stop separating you guys. So Tina, can you check to make sure her microphone, do you see the volume there? Make sure that it's all the way up.
yeah. There. Okay. Can it go up?
Yeah, it should be able to.
How do we make it go up?
You just click on that thing and hold it and move it to the side. Is it all the way out, all the way to the end?
No. It's almost all the way.
Okay, try to put it all the way to the.
There it is.
Okay.
That's all the way over. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank medium, high, no. That should have done it.
Okay.
Am I any better?
I'm hearing you just fine. We'll see if they can hear you better.
I'm not on my cell phone. I'm Tammy. I'm on my computer. Which that's what's making it dangerous.
Hey, Chance. So just say a couple of words, and then can you guys let us know if you can hear her better?
Okay, can anybody hear me better? Am I doing okay?
I can't turn her volume up here because y'all are going to hear her. And it's going to be like,
all the way up here. It's on auto.
Stay close to the computer. We can hear her better that way. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know. I'm loud. I'm sorry.
Okay, so turn Cindy down a little bit, maybe?
No. Don't worry about me. I've got mine with that extra mic. You just worry about, we just want to get yours. I'm gonna check mine and turn it down just a little.
I just need to get close to my computer. Wherever the mic is. I don't know where the mic is.
See, Tina, that's why you see me with my barely eyes.
Okay, now you turned it down too low.
Okay. I hear you fine, Kathy. Cindy is loud. Am I still loud? Can you hear me, Kathy?
Yeah, but you need to turn it up a little bit.
Okay.
More.
How about this? Is that better?
Yep.
That's better?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't want it on 100 because.
It's not too loud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because I told you that's quite a mic.
Yeah, I know. I told you it's a professional mic. I'm just not a professional.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cindy. Turn up just a little bit. Okay, I just did. I know there's a delay. So thank you guys for helping us. It doesn't matter. That's why I am telling everybody, if you have never seen me before, you've never been in this live before, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. This is not a place where we're going to have we have a lot of Virgos in here. We got a lot of earth energy in here. We got a lot of planners. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We already do that. So if we try to, stuff like this happens. It'll just mess up. It just messes up. Because that's what I did. I started at 3:00 this afternoon. I'm like, I'm gonna make everything my Virgo side, right? I'm gonna make everything really good. She's not gonna have to worry about anything. We're gonna do it all right. And look, here we are. Like, I cannot tighten it. I can't be too Virgo. I have to manage that south node, north node for me, right?
So if you do, you'll burn out.
Exactly. And Kathy's always telling me, "Are you resting? Are you being good?" I'm like, "I'm being good."
Are you playing with grandkids?
Are you playing with your grandbaby? Yes. So, again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We have a special guest. This is Kathy Riley. She is one of the 6 Kathys that are on here. I'm working with 8, but she's one of the 6. 5 or 6, I think it is, right? So we have some Catherines. Anyway, she is gracious enough. I asked her if she would come and explain not just some of the process of hypnosis, of meeting me, of doing the whole process, but also her actual session. So she has been gracious enough and is going to open up her world to us, because I know people. First of all, it's interesting. It's so interesting, and there's a lot of healing going on. There's a lot of even after the session, there's a lot of alignment going on. There's a lot of, and I'm going to have Kathy explain all of that. I'm going to be the interviewer because this is preparing me to interview other people. So, thank you so much for coming, Kathy. I so appreciate you. I love you dearly. You know that.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, let's start with the first question. Now that everybody's sort of here and we got to say hello.
And the one in the background, hi.
Yeah. So, can you tell us a little bit about what got you to the point that you thought, oh, I want to do hypnosis?
That is when I found out a lot of people were hypnotized to settle down their nervous system. And when I started losing family members, and my nervous system just started frying, and I could feel it in the center of my back. And between all the losses and, excuse me, let me die.
You're finally getting it out. I'm getting chills because you're finally getting to talk. You're finally getting to say. Good.
Yeah. And I knew that would calm it down. And if it calmed it down, then I can just want to live again. Because after you go through all that, you just don't care if you're here.
Right. So let's take that. Can I ask you another question with that? Can you tell us how many losses and what was going on and how that was? I'm sure that was a heartbreak, but you don't have to say the exact word, the exact number of the losses, but the types of losses and how that came about for you.
Okay. The first loss I had was actually back in '82 when my brother took his life. And we were like this. I am the oldest of 7, and it was him and I. And that one, it took me a year. I visited his grave every single day to tell him what he did to me and why he left me. And it was miserable for everybody around me to see me in that graveyard every single day for a year.
Wow.
And that was the first one. Took a while, but I woke up with a few things on that one. Then my next one was when Jim got sick.
And can you tell everybody who Jim is?
Jim was my husband, my second husband, actually. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to 2000. Jim started having seizures. Then in 2000, and then we went through that. And then in 2010, my oldest daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And that's when I
Yeah.
And then after that, in 2012, my other 2 daughters were diagnosed with cancer.
Right.
And in 2012, they were trying to find cancer in Jim. They knew he had cancer. So he said, bye, I'll see you when you think you find it, I'll be back.
Wow.
And that was in 2015. He was diagnosed with lung cancer, and they gave him 6 months.
So he was showing signs before, right? He was showing signs before. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And should I tell the Jim story about
Sure.
when we were dating?
This is a beautiful story. Yes, tell that story.
We started dating in 1985. And it took us about 2 years to figure out, we kind of like each other. And it's she's not here, but it's the Virgo Gemini mix that I always say, okay. And so he said, I don't know if you want to tangle up with me. I'm going to die of lung cancer. And I said, that's really interesting. I'm just curious, what are you going to do in the meantime? In the meantime,
it gives me chills.
Get some life in there. And So that's when we went on and we just dated, and he put a lot of life. I have to say, the man passed away at the age of 64, but he died at the age of 98
Wow.
because we lived.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And so, but he did.
But that was a hard loss. Your brother was a hard loss. It was a hard loss.
Because when he did get diagnosed, he looked at me, he goes, I'm not ready yet. I thought I had 10 more years.
Oh. Yeah.
So,
that was hard.
yeah. And then 5 months later, my oldest daughter passed away. And that created me and her dad, my first husband, to get back together. And then off to Las Vegas, he takes me. And then I lose my dad 7 months later. And then a year later, I lose my mother. And then I lose Sonny.
And this is all between a small span of time, right? It's like
I didn't even tell you about the two best friends Jim and I lost during that too, because I had a good friend that was helping me with my daughters,
right.
Debbie, and just let them know who I'm talking about. And she had passed away. She was diagnosed with leukemia.
Yeah, you mentioned her before. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was dying.
So a lot of loss.
And your support system's gone. The people in your four walls are gone.
It's like your
daughter's gone.
It's like your whole world just blows up. What you thought you knew is just no longer there, right? So the reason I wanted to bring that out is because you said, I've chosen to live life again. I've chosen, like, even though I had all of this going on, I've come back from hell. When I tell you guys you have been to hell, I know you have been to hell. You have been to hell, you know? And you danced with that devil, and then you just came back. You were just like, you know, fuck off. This is my deal, and I'm going to do this, you know?
Right.
So, this story is like not, it's not, unfortunately, it's not rare in this group. I'm not going to say it's not rare. It is rare, but it's not rare in this group.
In this group, we have been through it. Yes.
Right, exactly.
And that's what's pulled us all together.
Right. So, had you seen hypnosis before? Had you?
Only on YouTube when I started, was introduced to Dolores Cannon and started watching her.
Right.
And that's when I went, because I'm skeptical. I will have things come to me and it's like, no, that's not happening.
Right.
That's probably my higher self going, no, yeah, that is.
Exactly.
So I'm that skeptical.
Yeah. I think we all are.
Yeah. I forgot where we were headed with that.
I was just wondering, like, how you got connected to hypnosis to begin with, and then.
Yeah, Dolores Cannon and watching her, and then she was so relaxed about it. It's like, you know, it's just, you're going to go and talk about what happened and why you're living, what you're doing here now, and I thought, okay. And then you started mentioning it, and I went, okay. Yeah. And then I sent what I did was I sent Kim, sending some coffee money, and she thought it was for a reading or something else. And I said, no, how much is that? So I sent her more for that. And then she mentioned hypnosis. Well, okay, I can send you more. And then we all lined up to do all this, and then she disappeared. Now she's moving. Now,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. She was one of the ones that was like, I want to get it all done. And then all of a sudden I had to move, and I was like, wait, we have to wait. We have to wait. That's right. But, okay, so that's a good question. So we thought we were going to do that right then in March, right? We were all set up to do all of that. March, right? It was March or April. I can't even remember. Yeah. I think it was March or April. And then all of a sudden we had to stop. Now, looking back, don't you think this was a better time to do it when we got to do it than back then?
You mean before the flood and after the flood?
That's right. I want you to talk about the flood.
beautiful house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
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 So to let everybody know, Kathy was having issues with the flood, with water coming through her house, and so I've been working with Kathy, and we talked about it, and I did mediumship, I did channeling, I was channeling, and
Yeah.
I was saying your emotions that you never allowed yourself to have, you had kept all, you'd had so much tragedy, and you did what we all do, right? You're a warrior. You just kept it moving, kept it moving, kept it moving, and your body and your external place, which is you, it's part of you. I was
Yeah.
saying to her, it's gushing because you need to like address the you never allowed yourself to grieve for some of these
I
people.
never, yep.
You
Yep.
just kept going. You just kept going and then wondering why am I here? What am I doing? Right? And I said, your higher self, my higher self said, that's what's going on the inside. You need to start validating. You need to start. And she did. And can you tell us what happened? And this was all before hypnosis. This is all before
In the
hypnosis.
beginning, when Sonny passed away and had me in Las Vegas, I needed to get out of there fast, and that's when my adrenaline got going, and everything really started. It's like that. I don't want any more losses. I don't want to be in Las Vegas. I don't know anybody here. I got to get me home, and
Right.
that's what started. Then I get home, I throw money at. The first house available, I'm grabbing it,
Right.
and it happened to be this one, and I was thrown $1,000 going, yeah, your egress window has a little leak in it, might be, need attention. But I brought my power into the house.
It might need a little attention.
Attention was that.
Yeah.
And slowly trying to get it fixed slowly, and then it would just build me up even more until this spring it got so thick that I was done. And Cindy was asking me, are you doing magic? And I'm like, yeah, I was doing magic.
You were.
Just squeeze the water out of the house and bring people to help me. And so I was just like, bring it down. And
Because you're powerful. You're all powerful. Yeah, you were doing that.
yep, and bringing people to me, and they all came. It's like the guy that was thought he had the window fixed. He goes, nope, I don't have it fixed. And by the way, we'll go to half price because we know you did screw. You.
Yeah.
And then we have a sub pump that just, this is the problem. Egress windows are tied to the sub pump, and whatever's going on over there is pushing it over here, and it won't stop going. So I've got a flood going through my house and going up to my basement floor. And I'm fighting this all summer long. And finally I get someone to fix the sub pump, and they have to time it. Okay, we got to hook the two together, and this thing is running like every 2 to 3 minutes. Now, we got it all hooked up. Okay, go now. Boom, and glue it together. That's how bad it was run.
Right.
And so after they got that fixed, I had told Sonny that if you want to give me a message, bring me Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes a raven. And I have this beautiful window I see out, and it's all trees and green. I see birds. It's beautiful. And here sits this raven. And I get this vision. You must go to Tina. You must take her some stuff that she needs, and it's your granddaughter's birthday. You need to go see her tattoo, because they got matching mother-daughter tattoos. And he's telling me, get up and go. And off I went. And when I came back, that sub pump that slowed all the way down. It just, I had to get out of the house.
Right.
And he tried for 3 days to get me out of the house.
Yeah. Because you are that house. That house is an extension of you. And I had told her this. We had been talking about this, and I'm like, we got to look at that stuff. We got to look at it. It's time to start grieving. It's time to like allow yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, because during that time is when I said, we're going to do the hypnosis. Let's do the hypnosis. And
Yeah.
you had already been working on your emotion. You had already been working on validating yourself. And then all of a sudden, what happened?
That's when everything just kind of calmed down, and then you and I connected, and everything just started running smoothly. All of a sudden, my calendar filled up. I had things to do, people to see, and then bringing in the hypnosis, it's like everything just cleared up, even the balance, and I had a garden put in all the way around, and it just wasn't making me happy. Everybody was like, stupid backwards, what the hell?
Yeah.
You don't know what I want.
Right.
And because I can't physically get out there and do it, because what you don't know is I got real sick during my move.
Yeah.
And it's off in balance. So everything is in balance.
Right.
My life is now balanced.
But let's back up. So we do the hypnosis, and this is what I want to talk about is, even though we thought we were going to do it in March, and we both were excited about doing it even when I got here, but it was like not the time, and not the time, not the time. And then I'm all of a sudden getting, because I'm seeing her, I'm getting like, it's time. And it just opened up. And so I said, okay, let's schedule this, and then I'd like for you. So this is what I tell everybody. You're about to speak to the one energy being that's part of yourself that knows everything. You're about to get to speak to that.
Right.
So what do you want to ask? What do you want to say? And so I give you time, days, to be able to like let that come up, let it come out, write it down. So can you sort of tell us what you were feeling between the time that we had scheduled it to the time that we were going to do it? What was that like?
Actually, that's when I did get nervous, and I'm like, no, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I might find out something I really don't want to know.
That's important because there are people, it's scary. It's scary, right?
Yeah.
It's important. I want you to
really
say
want
that.
to follow through with that. You're already invested your income in that, so maybe you better just follow through with it, and it'll be okay. And that's when I went into what I didn't know was meditation. I daydreamed, but it's meditation.
It's meditation.
So I daydream about it. That's what I call it, daydream. And it came, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. And then I got excited. I was looking forward to it.
And you wrote down questions, right?
Yeah. I wrote them down here. I'm not real good at putting in writing.
Yeah.
Shame on me. I need to do that.
Right. But it was okay because during the session I did it, so it was fine anyway,
Right.
So, so on that day, how did that feel? So you're all prepared, you're getting ready. How did you do that day? How were you before I connected with you?
The clock slowed down real slow. For a long day, it's like, oh, it's never going to get here. Oh my! And it was in the morning, by the way, folks. It was like 11:30.
Yeah.
Real slow morning. It's wow.
Yeah.
But then when we got into it, it was like, over what?
Yeah.
Done?
Yeah. So when you go under, that's one thing is and that is a question I ask everybody is like, how long do you think you were in? And most people say about 15, 20 minutes. And I think you were under 2 hours. I can't even remember. I think it was like
a little over an hour.
Yeah. So it's usually between an hour and 2 hours. I don't like to do people at that 2 hours too long, but 1.5 hours usually does it. We can usually get the questions answered by then and then have you go to, a couple of lifetimes, whatever's needed,
Right.
But usually, because your higher self knows you, it knows, okay, an hour, she can do an hour, she can do an hour and a half, she can do 2 hours, they'll know.
Mm-hmm.
Were you at all during this whole time thinking, I can't go under? What if I can't do it? What's going on? Or were you ever afraid of that? Because I'm just asking that question because I know a lot of people have that question.
Yeah. And many people in the past that I've talked to, if it was ever brought up, I was like, oh, nobody can put me in. I know that I just can't go under. And, it's like, so you weren't worried about that.
Can you say that again? I want you to say that again so people hear you.
I remember how I said it. It's like,
I'm never going to be able to do that.
I would really go under.
Yeah.
You know, that you're not going to put me under. And I really didn't believe that I could go completely under. And even during it, I didn't believe I was under.
Mm-hmm.
It
Exactly.
went that far. Yeah. Yeah, it went that far. Where I really didn't believe I was under,
Right.
even when you're under.
Right.
Because you're just you.
Exactly.
You're just you.
Can you explain that to people more? Like when you were going under, how does that feel when you're like going under and because I think people have a misconception because, we watch movies and we've been brought up a certain way, right? And so you're connecting to, it's not even connecting, you're becoming aware of what you've always been connected to. So it's not a separation, right? So when I say the teacher is not separate from me, you completely understand that because you've been in that now, right?
I now know exactly what you're saying.
Right. It's really hard to describe. That's why I'm asking you to that's why I'm taking you back and asking you, how did that feel going under? How did you feel during it before we talk about the exciting part of it? But how did you feel going under? How did that feel to you? How did your brain, what was it doing? If you can be as descriptive as possible. I know it's really hard, but if you can do that, that would help a lot of people.
Yeah. As I was going under, it was like it was very relaxing. It was almost, for me, like being on a cloud, but I kept seeing all these beautiful colors. And it was the colors that got me. It's like, oh my goodness, it's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just, the colors are relaxing. It's like, it was so relaxed. And then you started asking questions, and it's like, done yet? I'm really, and it's relaxing, colorful.
Right, yeah. Because you can get lost in the spaces that you're in, right?
You kind of enjoy that.
Yeah. I remember getting irritated one time at because, getting my practitioner's stuff, we have to go under a certain amount of times. And I remember I thought that the practitioner was saying the questions too fast. I'm like, I'm not done. I want to stay in this space because it's so nice and I'm gathering information, right?
Yeah.
So I get that. So, but you never lost consciousness, right?
Nope.
You were there the whole time. Can you explain, because this is something that I've heard from everybody. It's like, I know I was talking, but it was me, but it wasn't me.
Right.
Can you explain that maybe in a different way? Because I'm trying to get that explained.
As you're asking questions, and I hear them, Kathy hears them, but my higher self is answering that I have no knowledge of it. I didn't say. And I'll argue. Kathy is saying no, and my higher self's going, yeah, that's what happened. And I'm going, what? And so you are you, and you are your higher self, but you are the same.
Yeah.
You are the same.
And you're like, I've heard this before where it's like that's not even the way that I would answer. Like I had no knowledge of that. That's how you know it's your higher self as well as you, right?
Because their answer, I go, no, yeah, that's how it. Okay, that's how it is.
Right, and they're like, okay,
and it's wow, that is yes.
That's it, right? Okay, so now that we got that part, I just want to make everybody feel comfortable about hypnosis and understanding we're not taking you away from yourself. You're not going to not remember. And the other thing too is doing it online is new to me. I'm used to people coming in with me, right? You guys were one of the first that I'm doing it online. So when you're doing it, are you feeling comfortable with the fact that we're online? That was another question that I had. That we're getting to do it online and not be in each other's presence, even though we're in each other's presence, right? For me, it's okay to do it. I was doing it more because I would like the person to get the whole experience, but I don't see that they're not getting the whole experience now, right now that I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, in my perception, my understanding, space and time is just an illusion anyway, right? So we
It
kind of
is.
feel
It truly
all of
is.
that anyway. So I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. As you're going under, now we're going to get to, I just wanted to explain all of that. But that you're under, what happened? Can you tell that?
When I first went under, I felt that I didn't want to go where I was going. And this is the part that said he doesn't know what, and so I didn't know where,
Mhm,
and you're guiding me through, and I didn't want to go there.
mhm.
And I didn't know why I didn't want to go there.
Right.
But then as you talked and had me talk through, I ended up there.
Hmm.
And that's, that was mind blowing. As you're asking different questions as to, do I see myself? Do I feel it? And I kept telling her, I felt just so happy, so happy. And what I meant to say is, I'm very overweight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very overweight. And I could feel that. And a lot of people will say they see things. I don't see.
You sense.
feel.
Yeah.
I sense. And that's how I am. I don't see it, but I can sense it.
Hmm.
And then when I got to where that life that I was in,
Can you explain to everybody what that was, that life? Because they're going to hear you talk about it, but unless you kind of explain it a little, it gives them some context.
I realized that we were trying to figure out age. I was a thick, heavyweight male,
Mhm.
and I was in a very tropical area. I could feel it felt very tropical. And I knew that I was being shamed by the community because I said too much. I said something, and I kept saying, like on the video, I did something, but I realized I had said something that was not to be, that's something you don't talk about, and I was literally shocked.
Right.
And then I realized
remember
I
that.
can't see anything, and I'm being mistreated, and I'm being told you did something, but yet they're not telling me what I said. And
Right.
so I'm being shunned. And so then
And it was actually being shunned. You were like put separate
I was,
by the village, right? Or by where this was. Yeah. And you felt all of
and
that.
so I ended up where I found solitude in the cave area. There was a cave, and it was comfortable, and I was able to do fire because I love making fire. And not to make fire in every lifetime. I still love making fire.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I was making fire, and I knew I was by water. It was probably the ocean and the sand. And I must have been almost blind because I had this tunnel vision where I could see me weaving, and I was weaving fishing nets and making bowls.
That's
And it
right.
was for my own survival, so I could fish. And I saw me, actually, I couldn't see my hands, but I saw what I was making.
Right.
And that was the only vision I actually had. And that's to remind me that I think I'm blind.
Yeah.
And so I was being abused because I had a handicap. I was sick. I didn't know what my illness was, but it was internal.
Right.
And I'm being shunned. And so that causes a great depression. And the feeling I had, I didn't want to go into that.
Right.
It was so, it was just, oh.
It was too much.
It was crushing to be misunderstood. It was crushing because I couldn't see my way through. It was crushing that I must have ate myself into, silliness.
Protecting yourself.
Yeah. I was 500 pounds, I thought.
Yeah. You were protecting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. With all that weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And
It was rough to go through it.
yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting that you say, I did not want to feel that. I did not.
No, I didn't want.
Which has a connection to this life, which is you did not want to feel all of that either.
Nope.
You know? Yeah,
Right.
that's so interesting. And here's the thing. We'll talk about this a little bit later, but there's a reason I have you guys listen to yourselves again. There's, and it's because you will gather information every time and in different parts of your life. Like the hypnosis session may stop at that point and we're living the rest of our lives, whatever. But the actual session between you and your higher self has not stopped, right?
Yep.
And so, do you want to talk a little bit about when we talk to your higher self? Well, actually, before then, what was so? Do you remember what you said after that life? Right? Do you remember what you said your purpose was? Do you remember the reason for that life, the purpose for that life, what you got from that life?
It was to learn. Yes, I had lessons to learn, and part of it was I was to learn gluttony, and I was to learn to be kinder. I must have had some rough words.
Yeah.
So I had to learn to be kinder, even though I felt that whatever I said was not wrong.
Right.
But that maybe I need to say things in a different way.
And then you make yourself a Virgo sun.
Yeah. Like, I just heard myself say that. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, and then there was the passing, and I didn't care.
Right.
You know, to not care that you're going, that you're just so done with this life.
Right.
That you don't care. And that
sounds familiar, right? It sounds really familiar. Interesting.
Didn't care.
Right. And the reason I'm bringing all this out is because it's really interesting how you're connecting that and how your higher self is showing you. Because you're like, why did you show me that life? And
right.
That's why. It's like there's so many similarities in this life, you know, that you've come to like understand more of, get a better handle on it, right?
Right.
Well, thank you for doing that part or saying that part, because that's a lot to like expose. You know, this is your deepest, darkest stuff, so I really appreciate that. It is noted. But the exciting, what I thought, well, it's all exciting, right? But can you tell us the next part of your higher self and when you got to speak to the higher self? When I got to speak to the higher self.
With the question?
How did it go? What did you think? Yeah, you don't have to do all the questions, but
yeah. Yeah, it with everything that you would ask me these questions, and I'm answering, but no, my eyes are sitting out this way. That's interesting. And then you'd ask another question, and then I'd go, I'm answering, no. And it's a different voice. It's a different voice.
It is. You can see it. You can hear it too on the video. It's with a different voice.
It's a different voice, and so
that's a good way to explain it, because you think you're going to answer it, but you don't. Your higher self answers it. Yeah. That's a great way to explain it.
And it's you answering.
It is you, but it's not the answer that you thought you were going to say. It's like, yeah, exactly. How did you feel when you became aware of your higher self? How did like, was there a feeling between you and the higher self? Can you explain that?
And that's the one that I know her. She knows me. We are closer than I ever believed that we are ever close. I have gone to her so many times that I don't really need to be hypnotized to go to my higher self.
Exactly.
Because she puts ball of joy that sits right here in my rib cage. And anything that's happened to me, as I've told you half of my story, that I don't care what's going on, who's passing away, I can go and I can go to that happy place that I call my ball of joy.
And you thought that's what it was, but she confirmed that, right? Your higher self confirmed it. Yeah.
I just knew, I thought it was Jesus. I thought it was God. I thought it, I knew that I was just being blessed by somebody somewhere, somehow. But I didn't know it's me.
It's you.
It's me.
It's you.
Taking care of me.
You're powerful.
And what a beautiful understanding to come to that, I've gotten that far. I've gotten that far.
Yeah, you're giving me chills.
That I can do this for myself because I know for a fact that when I got sick, when I moved here, I should not be here.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am.
Right.
And that's because we decided, no, I got a lot more to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up that morning thinking I wasn't going to wake up, I went, well, I got to grab that walker and walk to the bathroom and get checked in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just had, and then carry on.
Right. You made that choice. You made that choice to live.
And that's when I realized people can choose if they want to stay here.
Mm-hmm. You do. You have exit points. I talked about this a long time ago. You have exit points, but you get to choose. You have exit points, right?
Yep.
At least that's what I call them. I call them exit points because that's kind of how I see it. Is that we have, and I know that reminds me. I know because of the age that we're at. Y'all can look back and think, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have made that." That was an exit point. Yeah, exactly. So, you got your answers, your questions.
Yeah.
And it was lovely speaking to your higher self. Right. It was so interesting because it was a different voice too. And it wasn't like you were trying to have a different voice. You just had a different voice.
She was by.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about your higher self?
She is a little boxy. I know that, when I get real down, it's like, no, girl, we're not putting up with that.
Right.
Put up with that. Oh, Kathy, you can figure it out. I'm sorry, I'm answering somebody on.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to get into the chat.
Yeah.
You can find the chat. It's right below. It's in the comment section.
Right.
Chat. Comment.
Right.
Comment.
That's the other Kathy.
Come on in, Kathy.
Yeah, right. So how did you feel? Let me just make sure I'm getting all the questions and bringing out everything that I want to. You want to tell us more about do you want to tell us?
Okay, he's asking me a question.
Who's asking you a question?
You're replaying your lesson. Remember, you have 300 people. Yes, kinder to people. Oh, okay. Thank you, Chance. Thank you, Tina.
What happened?
The kinder externally and to self.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's to people. In
Yeah.
general, to the public because I don't speak love. I don't feel comfortable in a public situation.
That's another thing we should have said in the beginning. Like, this is not something that you would do. This is not something that you would do at all.
No, find someone else.
Yeah.
Like the background.
But instead, when I asked her, she said, "I already knew you were going to ask me, so yes." Which brings up another. So let me just say this: we've already found scientifically that a side effect of hypnosis. I'm just prefacing this right now. The side effect of one of the side effects of hypnosis is becoming more psychic, right? But you guys are already kind of psychic, so I don't think we're going to see a big boost in psychic with this group, people who work with me, until we do like way more. Like I'd have to probably put you under, 6, 7, 8, and 10 times before you're going to see like extra psychic, because you're already psychic, right? So, but just know if if anybody else works with anybody, that's usually a side effect as you become more psychic. which means you were already psychic. You just developed it more.
It
Right?
just means you're more aware.
Yeah, it is, and you're usually on point with it. So that's a really interesting question. If you don't want to talk, if you're finished talking about how you felt meeting your higher self, because that's really important. And like you said, you could feel that she loved you, that she's always known you, that she
Protects me.
yeah, yeah. She was wonderful. I love talking to y'all's higher selves. Like I get to talk to them when they tell me when I'm like on live and and I'm
Right.
channeling. But when I can talk to them and they're in the room and then you guys are like, you can see it too, you get to hear it too. I'm like, that's awesome to me. It's just awesome to me. I'm like, see, they are talking. See, they do have that attitude. See, they do have that personality, right?
Exactly. What is she doing? In the toaster.
Is that your cat?
My cat's in the toaster.
That's okay. I told you it's okay if your cats come on. They're gonna show what they're gonna show. Your cats are like, this is the big day. We get to be on camera.
Well, the last time when we just before we were going to get hypnotized, the one cat walked across the computer and turned the screen sideways.
I know. They do
And
it.
they Google, how do you fix it? And they go, oh yeah, cats do that all the time.
They do. They do it. I've had that several times with.
She's got? Oh, okay.
I've had that several times with being online. The cats want to come in, the dogs want to come in, and they want to be right next to you. They want to be right next to you.
They want in your voice, Moonpipe. She wanted to. She was.
Yeah.
You, and then you knocked her out. When I looked down, she was out. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was,
Yeah, though usually the other time they get really upset is if you're upset because you're really anxious and you want this to go right and da 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 da. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. You know? Yeah. So that brings me to another question. Like, after you met your higher self, we asked the questions, we brought you back. We've already answered the one question because I always ask, how long do you think you were under? Most people say about 15, 20, 30 minutes. Some people say 45. And it's usually way longer, right? Because there's no space and time where you're going. So that's a question that people, when you woke up, when I brought you up, how did you feel? How did that feel?
oh my goodness, that was the most relaxed I've been in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And boy, did I need that.
Right?
And that's exactly it. Boy, I needed that.
Right. So your body was finally relaxed, right?
Completely.
And your mind, was it relaxed from getting the answer? Your mind, was it relaxed from getting the answers that you really wanted to know? You know, it wasn't like they were hiding them.
That's what it was, is that I got to go to where everything started. That's how I feel. Like that's where it all started. And I bought it through some miserable other things that now listening to it over and over again, I realize I've been through some other things that, yeah, I don't want to go there either.
So that's a good, so you were feeling relaxed, you're feeling at peace. And that's another question, because I'll say to you, this is your assignment. I want you to, because I talk to Virgos this way, this is your assignment. I want you to listen to it. Yeah, and I'm like, this is a Virgo assignment. I want you to listen to this, and I'll give you like the certain amount that I want you to listen, and then that's for a reason, and I want you to explain that. So since we've had the hypnosis, and you've listened to it, how many times have you listened to? Because I send you the video. We'll just make that, because I didn't say that. I send you the whole video, right? I send you the part where you're under.
Right.
So you get to see yourself. And you get to see me making faces. But you get to see yourself. Because I'm like, because you guys know I'm very animated. So I'll be like, and I'm trying to not like do that. Professional. I told you I'm a professional mic, but I'm not professional. But I get so excited that Gemini side of me wants to like, So anyway, you get to see the video. So you've seen it how many times so far? And I want you to be honest because, okay. because
time.
sometimes you'll see it and then you won't get to see it for a little bit, right?
Right.
But sometimes you are allowed to see it a little. It's like it's not that you're not allowed. It's like your higher self is helping guide you through this, right? And so, can you explain that about what you? Because there's a difference when you came out and you had all these answers and you were feeling really, really good, and you're like, "How could it get better?" And then you listen to it again. Can you explain what happened? Because I don't even know this part, guys. I haven't asked her.
When I listened to it again, the first time I listened to it, I just cried through the whole thing because everything was like, oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe that. I can't believe it. And then the emotion.
Yeah.
You feel the emotion.
Finally letting it out. Yeah.
Yeah, finally letting it out. And so you're crying. And you're crying out. So I figured the first time you might pick up on that, maybe.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more in there than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And then you listen to it again.
You think you remember everything and you don't.
Don't remember it. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, the details of it and what was said, and then what your higher self will bring you to remember. And you cannot be up here, Nancy. Nope. You cannot have Cindy.
She's like, but it's Cindy. I need to talk to Cindy.
I need to talk to her. She's coming up the back 5 minutes. And here comes. Oh, they're both.
That's okay. I'm having my grandson throwing his fit too.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, then I listened to it again, and that's when I went, oh, I feel that little tweak of something else, of another life that kind of brings you to like the step line. And, oh, okay.
I'm going to, hold on. Oops.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. I was trying to like cut the mic so y'all can't hear. He's throwing a fit. So I'm going to be listening. So I'm going to be listening to you guys, but I'm going to put the mic on mute while you're telling this part. Okay. So you listen to it.
And then other things come out, and that would be more disturbing. It's like, oh, I do kind of remember that I looked at life like that, and then I pull back. Okay, I know that life, and now I know why I feel about other things. And the one big thing that really bothers me in this lifetime is child abuse. Just really not fun. I know that I have been, from this reading, a product of that child.
Mm-hmm.
And that in a previous life, women do give birth for money to hand over children to these people.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of those children, and I now realize it.
Wow.
And that is one of those things that now I'm here this time to stop the madness of that kind. And
Wow.
I got to see Playboy go down, Hustler go down. I got to see all those madmen go down.
Yeah.
In this life.
Wow.
And that is one of those beautiful things that I picked up in that video that we didn't even talk about.
No, we didn't talk about that. No.
But it shows up.
Yeah.
It shows up. It shows
That's
up in there.
that's so interesting that you say that. Yeah, because we didn't even address that.
I was one of those children. Oh my goodness. And then I started remember, don't remember. But then that showed me the whole dark side of the process that's going on.
Right.
That is now being just really brought to the surface, the truth of that.
Right.
Now, children won't have to go through.
Again. Exactly. Yeah.
And then to say, I had gave birth to 3 girls, and then you're still protecting. And I wondered, why am I so tight on protecting these girls?
That's fine. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I didn't save them from it. They got close to it, but it got taken down real fast.
Right.
Real quick.
Right.
It was my brother, and I put him in prison.
Right. Yeah, that's a part of the story that people didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's a. And I put him away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
And we don't speak to any of them.
And so you got the connection between that and like the first time the second time you listened to it, right? Because the first time you just cried and cried, right?
Right.
Because
The second time you picked it up.
well, it must have been just being able to like finally getting validated for all these things once you were listening to that, right?
Everything that I've ever felt, everything that I've ever been through, it's like, why am I so crazy about this? Why am I so determined to get this done? And I know a lot of people go through all that.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah, that's why I thank you for saying all this, like being really open, because you're not alone and we're not the only ones, right? There's a whole group
right.
here, right?
And when you go through that stuff, you feel alone. You feel like nobody cares. You feel like nobody's paying attention.
Right, right. So
Because it's a lonely experience.
right, but when you listen to it and then you're like, wow, like you finally get validated. There's something very healing about that. There's something very aligning about that. And so this is a question I have for you, because we're going to be working together still, because we have your misalignment with your body, right? So we want to say it that way. Misalignment with your body, right? And so, but what I want to know is, since the hypnosis has that part, and we're talking in code, guys, because we have to talk in code, has that part changed at all?
We're working on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but has it changed? Has it changed at all? Did it get?
It got better. Yeah.
It got better? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But so there was a change there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I do hypnosis and herbs, and like I have this way of doing it, right? And I understand that not everybody can do that with me. I understand that. Which is why we're going to be opening a place, you know, where we're going to have people to have the opportunity, because it's always an energy exchange. It's always an energy exchange, right?
Exactly.
So, but I'm glad that, first of all, I'm glad that it's changed. I'm glad that it's getting better, right?
Yeah.
So I'm glad about that. Now, since you've listened to it a couple more times, have you gathered information that you hadn't before?
Well, then when I listened to it again, because when I listened to it the second time, I needed the third time to really, did I hear that? Did I really go there? What that means? And so that was
right, because so you'll have the doubts, right?
Yeah.
Because your ego starts playing with you. Yeah.
It really happened. It's real. It's what it is. Yeah. And then the fourth time, it was just to make sure, and that was because it was earlier today.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're going to talk about this.
Let's do this again. And did you gather any more new information about that? Which is probably why.
What I got out of that day, like, okay, this makes everything line up now.
Right.
It has no line up. It's
Right.
like,
yeah. And what I'll have you do is like, in 3 months, I'll have you listen to it. And then in 6 months, I'll have you listen to it. And I'll tell you why. Because when I had the assignment of that, right? I went to a lot. So one of my lives, I had, and I think I told you this. I had a life where, I mean, I've had several lives as a soldier, but I was stabbed in the knee, and when I was older, I could see myself limping, and I knew, and I knew it was like from an old wound in war, right? And I didn't hear that my higher self said I had the marking. And 6 months later, I hear it because I'm listening to it again. And I check down. Now, I've had this knee all my life. And I actually have, and I showed her this. I showed her the markings of the 2 stab wounds of how it went through my knee. I still have that. I brought that. It's a birthmark that I brought with me, and I've had that all my life and didn't connect the two until I heard it in the session again, and that was like 6 months later, right? So
That's incredible because you say a lot.
yeah,
You don't realize it. You say a lot,
Yeah.
even though I felt like I was struggling just to get words out of my mouth.
right. And you were talking very clearly. You were speaking very clearly. So yeah,
But
it's
when I was younger, I felt like I was struggling for every. Oh.
it's because like it's your ego trying to like your ego's like, yeah, I have the answer, but your higher self's like, no, the answer is this. We've let you play for a little while. Now it's time for me to play a little bit, Like it's
I
so
felt like I wanted to control it. It's like, no, you are not in control.
exactly. So, um, thank you so much for that. And my last question would be, would you recommend this to?
I-
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that's having any issue, any question, any depression.
Yeah.
Anything that makes them nervous, anything that makes you afraid, which, by the way, Jen, I have no fear.
Right.
I was born with no fear. I don't know what fear is.
Right.
Thank God it has saved me many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've not been afraid of anything in this life.
Right.
And probably lots of other life.
Right.
I have no fear. And it just seems to scare other people.
Right. I think that's this whole group. We don't have a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And so has your life changed because of it?
Because of it settled everything right down. I feel like I grieved. I can grieve.
Yeah.
And I've actually gone through and bought beautiful memories
Oh.
of every person that I've lost. I have went back and lived a beautiful memory with each one.
Oh, that's so good.
For the beautiful memories that they gave me while they were here.
Yeah.
Because now I know, oh, everybody's fine. They're fine. I'm fine.
And you just know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just know. And, Jim came to me after he passed and let me feel that his whole body, he went down to nothing.
Yeah.
And I got to feel him healthy and whole again.
Yeah.
And that's the one person I saw. And when I was 11, my grandmother came to me when she passed.
Right.
And those are the only two that actually came to me after they passed.
But since you've gotten to be able to just know and see and you've gotten to grieve. You've gotten to grieve. So it has changed your life.
And it just lightens the world. It just lightens everything up.
It does.
I was going so fast that my phone was advancing in time.
Right.
And Tina didn't believe me. I showed it to her. I said, look at my phone. She goes, it just jumped 2 minutes right in front of me, Mom.
Yeah.
I now believe you.
Yeah, exactly. That brings up that last thing that we were talking about before we got on live. It's like, I think it's really important. I can say it every night. I say it all the time. But what I'm trying to relate to everybody in this group is I know that you've been to hell. And you were in hell and had no reason to come back. You had no reason to come back. Because you actually, this is what I mean when I say you danced with the devil and you kicked that motherfucker out. You're like, this is my bitch now, right? You didn't need to come back. A lot of us, when you understand that everything's okay, when you understand those people that have crossed over are okay, when you understand that everything's going to work out anyway, you have no reason to come back and live. Yet you chose to come back and live life. That's what I feel like for everybody. So I want maybe if you were to say or explain it that way in the way that you feel like I made that choice to be able to come back here to live my life again. I had nothing. I lost everyone.
And when I got sick.
All of it. Like just the point at which Yeah, actually, you did mention that already. Where the point at which you were like, "Well, I'm just going to keep on going." Right? There's this will that you have to live. That's you surviving. Now you've gotten to the point where you're like, "No, I'm actually going to live." You know, and with hypnosis, with coffee time, with whatever we've done, because we've done all of it, right? Whatever we've done, it gets you one step closer to understanding that choice that you've made. And you're like, and even though because I've watched you, even though you're like, I want to do this, you're like, I don't know how to do this, right? But it's all come together, and you're like, now I know how to do this. Now I know what I'm doing. Now I know that I'm living. Now I know I can be happy. Now I don't have to have all that baggage that I've carried for lifetimes, right?
Yes. Exactly. Lifetime.
Yeah. It's not just this life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't realize you're dragging that through with you.
You feel so much lighter. So much lighter.
And from the time, it's like when I came here from Las Vegas, I got very, very sick. And I ended up with, they said colitis. But I knew I was going to.
Uh-huh.
And that was my time when I got back here. I'm exhausted. I've not breathed yet. I'm gone through pulling back with all that. And I knew I went to bed. It's that I'm going home. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. That's my famous line.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I woke up.
Yeah.
Now I have to go get my coffee, grab my walker because I was using a walker at the time. I couldn't hardly move, and get on with what the hell this is.
Yeah. And you're like, what is this? I don't even know why I'm still here. Right. But from that point to this point, yeah, but from that point to this point, you're like, now I know. Do you have all the answers? No, but you know you have access to the answers. It's like you no longer have to worry about not having the answer or doing it the wrong way.
Right.
You have that connection. You're aware of your connection with your higher self. That's why I do hypnosis. Right?
And to know that I always have this.
Always. Yeah. And all we're doing from now till however long is just going to be realigning that body. That's it. That's all we're going to be doing. It's just realigning your body with your soul and your higher self and your ego, all of it together. Right? That's all we're going to be doing. So.
And I get a massage every other week, and my massage therapist actually noticed a big difference in my body.
Really?
Massaging all
Yeah.
the nerves. She's worked on me for years. She's
Yeah.
a massage gym.
Yeah.
And she noticed a difference in my
Wow.
body.
That's incredible. If she noticed.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much. But I want to let anybody that has any questions, if you guys have any questions, if you have any comments about, how she's done this and what she's done, I'm sure she's willing to answer Kathy is willing to answer some questions. So.
Thank you, guys.
Mine comes in a little bit late, so you may get it before I get it.
Well, been done so many times. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Done, you're done, you're done. And you got to see it 3 times. I'm working for you.
Exactly.
Thank you, Tina. My mom is my hero. I don't see Power Family still here. Power. Hi, Ellen. I was talking about you and your ranch. It wasn't her video? Oh, it was on her site then.
She said, "Love you, Mom."
Yes, she was. Love you. DJ there? My grandson wants to be on here too. It's like,
So I'm gonna put my my email if anybody wants to. Everybody knows it, but those of you that don't and have never seen me before, it's yourpath@gmail. Sorry, I was in the kitchen.
She was in the kitchen. I said, hi, Ellen. We were talking about you earlier.
Does anybody have any questions, comments for Kathy? This is a big deal that Kathy's doing this. I'm telling you, she wouldn't have done this before. So I thank you for sharing with all of us, for sharing with the group, for sharing with the world, you know.
Go back and reading some of it.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh, wow. We kind of shut everybody down.
I know. Now do you see what I'm saying every night? Now do you see? I'm like, I know you guys are not saying anything, but I need y'all to say something. It gets dead.
They're listening because I've been on the side. It's wonderful.
Isn't that?
I hope I help anybody. I hope you know that you're not alone.
You're not.
Any chance, you're not alone in anything you're going through.
No, you're not. You're not.
Alone. Even if you lose your family, my family doesn't talk to me. My friends don't talk. They think I lose their mind. And I lost everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter because it's about me and my four walls and what's going on in here.
Right.
And once I realized that, I'm perfectly content. Love you too, Linda.
Right.
Kiss the boys for me. And so that is actually, you know, it feels good.
It feels great.
Good.
That's where I'm at, and that's where I want everybody else to be, because it feels great.
Because it's rough to just exist. And, you know, when you're existing, you're worried about everybody else. It's like, okay, I'm existing. But then when you start living again, and you find your life, and you cheer, and you're happy, which all three of my daughters have gone through cancer. They know that feeling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you know, to feel like you want to live again. To
right.
Like, feel that happy, to feel the joy that we all take for granted.
I think that's something that people don't understand is like, there's so many people that have been through so much that they get into a space where they just exist, and that is very different than living. It's very different than living.
That's a whole thing with the team.
Mm-hmm.
He was in that world for quite a while.
Just
the medication, the doctor's telling you got to have this and you got to do this,
mm-hmm.
and then she finds out, no, I don't.
Right.
And I feel better if I don't.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Tammy says, well spoken, good job. Well, if nobody has any questions, then I think we have taken a lot of her time.
It was fun.
I think everybody's just probably like, I'm trying to reel it all in.
That's only half of it.
I know, that's what happens. But that's what happens when higher selves come in. You know, you're all like, what?
What?
I know. I'm so lucky to get to do this. I'm so lucky to get to do this. So I thank you again. I am going to put it on the ending and end this, but you can stay on here with me and they won't be able to just listening. She said, yeah, exactly. So thank you everyone for coming in. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this, like this type of content, I'm sort of like veering into that. And so let me know. Let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you want more of this type of stuff. Hey, why did I forget his name? I say your name all the time, Chance. I couldn't. Yeah. I know. Chance says thank you both. You're welcome. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for opening your hearts and opening your minds and listening. Thank you for being here every night. Tomorrow we're going to get to talk about Uranus. Hopefully.
We're going to finally get there.
We're going to finally get there. Anyway.
Right?
I love you guys. Thank you. She said, good job, Mama. Thank you so much. We will see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you for coming in.
Sending much